Hi, I'm Carcino.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. LL Cool J was the staple of hip hop, the pinnacle. And when Jay-Z did the Black album, he brought up on stage that how, LL was the biggest fan of LL, and once he retired, he wanted to go in and take over. And, he was gonna be vice president, Jay-Z was gonna be president of of Def Jam. And that's where the disconnect came in at with Jay-Z was being the face of it. It was really L.A. Reid that was treating LL like a relic rather than somebody who had not only was earning, but transcending in times. And while LL was doing movies, when he came back, he was finding himself quite disrespected, but he was worth way more than the people that's there. He needed his records promoted to do his job. And he's looking at Jay-Z. He's like, look, he needs to be on the phone calling radio stations and doing what he's supposed to be doing to get the records played. And Jay didn't understand at that time how much, this meant to LL. But Def Jam is his legacy. And see, without that, and he's the very first artist of the label. So for him, it means something. Jay just thought like, well, this didn't, a record's a record. You trying to do it for the deal. LL was thinking about his legacy. So while he's transcending to go to new levels and make new music and go to new heights, he's steadily, battling for respect now in the new game when he's truly somebody who's iconic and has been in that position long before Jay-Z was even thought of. To Jay-Z's own uncle told him, yeah, you would never be big as LL Cool J. So that often came around and started to ring familiar to a lot of people who were not in the know at said time about LL Cool J and Jay-Z's little fallout. So then comes this story, about how Jay-Z battled and beat LL Cool J at this nightclub incident, and that became a growing phenomenon of itself. And LL is LL Cool J. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't remember that. Like he's like, man, some kids chained up to battle me. He's like, I wasn't in album mode. I wasn't ready. I ain't had rhymes cocked, ready to go. I'm trying to chill. And here comes some dudes come up and they got like a whole rhyme book. I think that in hindsight, when 50 Cent came around and LL was, up at that, 50 came in there and it's like, oh, don't worry, I'm gonna come in there and help this out. We both from Queens and they were working on an album together. And Jay wasn't interested in putting out a 50 Cent LL Cool J album. He really wasn't. That wasn't his priority. And once he had beef with, Jay-Z, 50 Cent came right in on the song Queens. So when they did the song Queens together and, you know, what 50 did, and a lot of people tried to say 50 wrote for LL Cool J. No, he didn't. the thing that 50 did was make LL would write the rhyme and 50 would try to make it sound more modern. LL is too intelligent when he raps. His raps didn't relate to the younger people because he wasn't using the lingo because he hasn't been in that game for a while. So he would, instead of this word, use this word. We don't say this word no more. Use that word. You know, that's type of stuff. So he's not writing the rhyme. So everything was fine. They been squashed all of this stuff that we're talking about in the back stuff that you're seeing now with this. And Jay was like, he's upset. I'm not. If he's willing to work it out, I'm willing to work it out. So they sat down, they worked it out. And LL got his masters. He got all his masters to his songs. So, he didn't bash Jay-Z and he's just like, look, I ain't have a bad vibe with dude. And he just didn't like the fact that they kept bringing up these rumors about the rap battle, how he beat LL and rapping to boost himself up when he's like, what are you doing that for, B? So anyway, at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, when LL went in, Jay-Z was there and they met again. LL was all love. They took pictures together. They posed, and whether it was for Shard or whatever, they did that. You know what I'm saying? It happened. They were squashed. Everything was everything. Then it was hip hop's turning 50, and LL's got the Rock the Bells tours going on, and he's bringing back all the old school rappers, and they doing all of this. Hey, this is what it is, and it's going on. It's real. This hip hop at 50. Now Jay-Z at this time is corporate. He's gotten rid of Dame Dash. He's got rid of all of the people that made him hot, made him Jay-Z. And after that, um, yeah, it was always a ego thing. And when you got an ego and you got a situation where you're ready to go at it and rhyme and do your thing and protect what's yours and you a part of hip hop and Jay at this time is one of the biggest artists in the game. LL did it, and so all of these people are going out. LL did the tours or whatever, and Jay didn't even come out as a special guest. He didn't even do anything. And this is what L was talking about. Like, man, dog, take the tie off, come down and do this for hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Come do this for hip hop, B. That's what they were saying. Like, look, don't do this for us. Do it for hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because you failing yourself. You're the only one failing out here, bro. You you got on the suit and tie, but you won't sit down with your brother. You won't sit down with your sisters that helped make you Jay-Z. You didn't become Jay-Z by yourself. For you to get there, you stood on the shoulders of a lot of other hip hop greats to get where you are, dog. You know what I'm saying? They got you here as much as you think you got here by yourself. But what Jay-Z couldn't tell the rest of the world, he couldn't tell LL Cool J, he couldn't tell all the other hip hop artists that he couldn't be seen with them celebrating 50 years of hip hop. Even he couldn't even throw something for himself because he's not in that group no more. The group he in, they don't like hip hop. They pretend to like it. So Jay got to pretend he don't really like it either. And that's why he didn't do anything for the hip hop 50. because he doesn't really feel himself as hip hop. That's why he says, I'm a businessman. And rap was just a vehicle to get to where I was really striving to be. Jay don't see himself as a hip hop artist. LL is hip hop, no matter what. No matter what business he do, he hip hop. That's what he is. He was the B-boy. He was out there breakdancing with the beatbox. He didn't say, let me rap to get money. He wanted to make an album because he knew he was good, but he loved this shit. LL don't have to rap. That's what he said. I don't have to do this. I want to do it. That's why I'm doing it, because I love it. I don't have to do it. At my age, I'm good. I've made enough money. I am good, blessed. I don't have to do it, B. And you could take off a tie for one night, grab a microphone and just go for it. He's like, I don't care if it's on the Instagram or in your house. But to act as if you're not a part of what everybody else is doing, celebrating hip hop at 50. That rubbed LL the wrong way. When Jay didn't do that, that rubbed him the wrong way. It was almost like a slap in the face. It was like, so you've been posing this whole time. You ain't really about this. You too big to be seen with us? Like we a disgrace? Like what we doing is embarrassing? And they stood there for you. Right. Stop effing up your legacy and get on the goddamn stage, man. That's what LL was trying to tell him. Quit messing up your legacy. Get your ass on stage. Yeah. So, it is what it is. LL, dude can do what he want to do, as he always put. Yeah, well, that's just how it goes. On that note, we up out of here. Thanking you